And then I just remember, I literally remember it so vividly. And like my mom was like, "Oh, I can't take you to dance or whatever," because there's a lot going on with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember I was crying. I was like, "What?" Like that's kind of like when I knew. I was like, "No, I think I love this." Like
Yeah.
and stuff. And then yeah, and then I think when my parents divorced, I got even more so in it and stuff. And um, whenever I got to high school, like freshman year, I was like, I'm gonna do this as like a career. That's like when I finally was like, I think I'm gonna pursue this as like an actual profession.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when like a huge shift happened, and I felt like from then on it was just like I took it very very seriously, and I could tell because then from then on like that's when I just saw the constant improvement, and it was yeah,
Yeah.
it did really really well. So yeah, so did like conventions, competitions, all that. As far as dancing, I grew up like literally doing like ballet, tap, modern, jazz,
Yep.
contemporary, all point, all that stuff. Literally everything.
Which one of
Very
those was your favorite?
contemporary.
Contemporary. And
Loved
explain to
contemporary.
me what that is. Is that like hip hop dancing?
So contemporary is more so a fusion of like ballet and jazz, and then also I like to say it has also its type of freedom and movement. So it's very it's very like its own style.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's definitely a fusion of like ballet and jazz, and I really appreciate the what's the word for it? The not organicness. Yes, the organicness, but the discipline. I appreciate the discipline that you have to have, like just within like technical training. So, but I also enjoy like the freedom, flow, and the movement.
Yeah.
Which is why I think I fell in love with contemporary because I felt like I could tell a story.
Okay.
So yeah, that was more so
So did
contempt.
you feel it was more expressive way of dancing versus
Definitely,
the others?
I feel like that's where I found my love for dance because I was able to express the most in that style, which is why I fell in love
Yeah.
with contemporary. And I was like, oh my god, I love contemporary. Yeah.
And that was in high school, or was that afterwards?
That was in I found I guess my love for it like in like 7th grade. I had like my when I first started contemporary, I like had my contempt teacher
Mm.
and stuff. And then yeah, and then from there I just like loved it basically. And then I guess I was a huge So You Thinking Dance fan,
Mm.
like so, and then watching it all the time on TV, and it just like yeah, I just remember like every time it came on, like I was like in front of the TV, like had to watch it, like and I would try all the moves that like I'd never seen before. Like afterwards, I'd be like, oh, I want to do this, or like the next day in the studio, like yeah, it was just I was very very driven,
Mm.
definitely as a kid. I feel like um growing up I could definitely see a difference in like how I was driven compared to a lot of people. For sure, for sure.
Yeah. And do you feel that was because you had older brothers who made you like
Um
kind of competitive
I
person,
actually
or do
have
you feel
younger
like
brothers.
you have younger
I'm the
brothers?
oldest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think the competitive nature came from my dad putting me in sports.
Okay. So it was just in you.
It was in
Yeah.
me, and then also like I grew up always watching sports. So like my dad would always have the baseball games on, the football games on, da da da. And I'm a huge daddy's girl, so like I'd be there literally right by him watching it, and I'm like, oh, let's go, like cheering and stuff. But I think the competitive nature of watching, and then also ESPN would be on all the time, whether it was in the
Yeah.
morning, not all the
Dad's a
time.
big sports fan.
Yeah, big sports fan, and same with my brother. So, and then also we would always grow up watching a lot of documentaries.
Mm.
So it was like watching the sports documentaries and sports movies were always my favorite because I just really enjoyed the passion and drive, and then that just inspired me to put that into how I thought of dancing. So like growing
Yeah.
up, I thought of dancing. I've always thought of dancing as a sport.
Okay.
So I always had like the competitive nature and the competitiveness of it and like the go getter of it rather than just like kind of doing it.
Yeah. That's awesome though that you recognize that to make that relation at a young age.
Mm.
Obviously there is other ways of dance. Like, do you think of high school dance? Did you do high school like dance team?
Yeah, I did a lot. I did studio dance. I did dance team in high school, and I also did. There's a like it's called like community,
Okay.
like or I guess you can call it like community dance or whatever. I just joined like it was like a hip hop crew like back in Houston, and
Oh, that's
they're
fucking
literally like,
awesome.
in my opinion, also from Texas. I think they're the best in Houston. What up?
What are they called?
They're called So Real.
So Real.
They were
Shout
on
out.
ABDC.
Shout out. So Real.
Yeah, they were on ABDC and like all that
I was
stuff.
just gonna say that's what I fucking loved watching.
Yeah.
And when were they on? Because I honestly
They're on season 2
feel like I remember
with
them.
I think like Super Crew. It was like
Yeah.
with they're like the Super Crew and the So Real, and then they had gotten second.
Was there like introduction video on like a basketball court?
I honestly don't remember.
For some reason, that's coming up in my head.
I'm like, I didn't know honestly what So Real was until like I got to high school.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch ABDC until starting season 3.
Season 3.
So I barely missed being like, oh, they're from Houston, which is so crazy. But
Yeah.
I started watching it season 3. But as far as, because my friend had got me into it, and I didn't even know it was a thing, because I wasn't
it was
allowed
great
to.
right away.
I wasn't allowed to watch MTV when I was younger. Like it was
Okay.
like if I watched it, I had to watch it on like
Quietly.
yeah,
or
quietly.
secretly?
Didn't tell my parents. Like I was very. I feel like I don't know. Like I feel like I grew up conservative, and I had to find like a lot of things myself. Like I was just telling like a friend of mine, I was like, I didn't even, cause they play like all this like soulful music and
Yeah.
like just like old like R&B, old hip hop, all this stuff, whatever. And they're like, how do you not know this? And like, you like dance and everything. And I'm like, I just wasn't around. Like I grew up in country, like
Country, Texas.
yeah, like
So you were pretty far outside of Houston?
well, no, not in the country. Like I grew up on country, like country music.
Oh, okay.
So it's like I grew up hella on country music. Can I say that?
Yeah, go for
Okay.
it. This is was it unedited or
Unedited.
unedited?
So
Uncensored. That's what I'm looking for.
uncensored.
Yeah, we can
up
fucking
in
swear on
here.
this shit.
Yeah. But I grew up like on country music. Like
Yeah.
that's like there's like the rodeo in Texas. Like definitely went to the rodeo growing up. Like it was just like I had to find really like R&B myself
Yeah.
and all that, and like hip hop myself, like music wise and everything. And I know I was more into R&B growing up. Definitely like as I found it.
So you big like Usher fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Who was big before Usher? Like was it R. Kelly? And then yeah,
Yeah, I think like R. Kelly, Boyz II Men.
yeah. See, I know that Boys to Men. I know that name, but I couldn't think of the song of theirs. I probably heard it. I just don't know what it is, or it's that it's them.
Yeah.
I'm like that a lot with music though, especially older. I guess maybe it's just random, honestly, because there's not like a
Mhm.
genre that I feel like. I just know a lot of songs, and I'll know a name of somebody, but I won't
Yeah.
know that song is by that person
Yeah,
or
yeah.
that group.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've probably heard their music, but just don't know it's them.
Yeah. That's how I feel even now.
Even now, yeah, same.
I'm like, yeah, I like that song. I'm like, who is it? I'm like, what? No
Yeah.
way.
Wait, I know that person. Wait, that's
Yeah.
them? Oh, I didn't fucking know
They
that.
did this too.
Or I'll just
What?
like, I don't know if I have off ears or something, but I'll
Uh-huh.
swear like a song is by somebody else, and I'll
Yeah.
just think that for a while. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
recognize
yeah.
that voice. Then I'll find out months later it's not even that person. You're like, wait, what?
I thought it was
This
person
whole
the whole
time.
time.
Yeah, this whole fucking time.
That's how I feel about and he's on the come up, but I should have it here. But he's on the come up, but Don Toliver. So for a minute I thought Don Toliver was oh my gosh. Wow, I can't even think of it.
That keeps happening to me on this show. I think I just feel on the spot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
like,
shit that I normally know, and it's just not coming to me. But
oh my god, he's literally from Houston. Like
no, you got it.
Kylie Jenner's dude. Are the one she
Travis Scott?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was like, I couldn't think of it. I promise I know. But anyways, for a minute, I thought, because Travis Scott has a very distinct sound.
Yeah.
But for a minute, I thought Don Toliver was Travis Scott, because they kind of have very similar sounds. But I'm just seeing that it's like
I'm
popular.
in the same boat right
but
now. I know that name, Don Toliver,
Yeah.
but I can't think of a song that's his. But
He has
I
that-
probably heard it.
"Da-na-na, after party, you know my friends. and
Okay.
I wanna get that way.
Yeah.
But my favorite song of his is Euphoria. Pretty dope. Yeah. I feel
And
like
he's from Houston too.
yeah,
Don
he's from
Toliver?
Houston.
They both are.
He's from Houston. Meg the Stallion's from Houston.
Yeah.
So honestly, anything she does, I'm like, this means Houston, by the way. So